Hi, everybody. It's my turn to share out what I've been up to over the last few months, and that is namely global education. So, what is global education anyway? Well, there are lots of definitions out there, but in a nutshell, it's an interdisciplinary approach to learning that focuses on concepts and skills our students need to function in a world that is increasingly interconnected and multicultural. Yes, I know what you're thinking. This is just another flavor of the month. This doesn't sound so different from what we already do, right? We already teach these concepts and skills. We already teach multicultural texts. That's because global education is grounded in the humanities and traditional disciplines. The standards are the same, just globalized. What do I mean by globalizing a standard? Here's an example. Now, I'm not going to read this. You already know it. Our kids research a lot. But when you globalize this standard, it looks like this. Again, I'm not going to read it, but I do want to note the global in front of question, the glocal, which is global and local together, in front of problem. Sources include international, and the topic of interest is being investigated from multiple global perspectives. So the scope's been broadened, but the standard is essentially the same. What's different, really different, is the approach. Teachers are collaborating across disciplines, in person and online, in district and worldwide through personal learning networks. And our students are doing the same, Skyping or blogging with another class across the country or across the world, collaborating with each other in class, online, and cross-culturally with their peers in another country. Assessments of and for learning change too. For example, I replaced the final essay on Voltaire's Candide, with me, the teacher, as the only audience, with a collaboratively scripted podcast assignment of Candide 2015 that allowed my students to investigate current human rights issues within and beyond our borders and create a product to be shared online to a global audience. Instead of a test or essay on remarks all quiet on the Western Front, students are going to choose and design a take-action assignment at the local, national, or international level. This could be designing a meme, producing a video or brochure to raise awareness of PTSD, could be writing a letter to a state senator, or could be volunteering at Leominster Veterans Center. They'll be the designer. The content, too, gets broadened. Students learn how their actions impact people around the globe and vice versa. NPR's Planet Money documentary follows the making of a simple t-shirt across the global economy, and it's quite illuminating. The lens angle through which students view, research, and digest a topic of interest also widens. It telescopes beyond our local and national borders to take in other global perspectives. So, why should we move towards global education? Well, because only 2 of my freshman students had an inkling of where Beirut, Lebanon was, and all of them knew that Paris was in France, but not necessarily where France is on the map. Because 40% or more of my students don't read, watch, or listen to the news outside of the Enterprise Sentinel, at least not with any regularity, and they weren't aware of the Syrian refugee crisis. Because Islamophobia dominates political rhetoric in the U.S. right now and trickles down into uninformed minds. Because our students will be voting in just a few years. Because the U.S. is perceived by other countries and our enemies in particular as self-involved and uncaring, and that is largely true of our students. Because teenagers have a finely tuned sense of justice that we can tap into. Because we want our students to be empathic, not apathetic. Because we want them to be more than good students, We want them to be good human beings. More than good U.S. citizens, we want them to be good global citizens of a shared world. And because reading, writing, speaking, and listening are the skills we teach and hold near and dear as ELA teachers. But most students see and use those skills for a grade only. If applied to a real-world purpose and a wider audience, I believe students would use their voices to communicate a message, influence others, and effect change at home and abroad. They would truly understand from experience the power of using words well. So, what is a good global citizen? Well, I think it's someone who is open-minded and tech-savvy, revels in diversity and takes risks, knows what's going on in the world and his or her place in it, is an active steward of our environment and defender of human rights, is culturally sensitive and competent. Globally competent student citizens are also prepared for college and the changing internationalized workforce. So, what are we waiting for? Let's get started, one small step at a time.